Attack on Titan is another one of those shows that's loved by many people and has had a healthy fan base. It first aired summer of 2013 and I actually didn't even know about it until someone from high school brought it up to my attention, and it eventually popped up on Netflix. It was one of those animes that gained a huge fan base very fast, and if I remember correctly, I was a bit skeptical about it since it was becoming an overly hyped thing. I was wondering if the show was worth all the attention, and it admittedly did take me a long time to watch it, but I did, and at the end of the day, So I don't hate Attack on Titan, but I really don't like it. It's one of those series I'll chime into every now and then just to know what's going on. That kind of show that I'll just watch the fight scenes on, oh jeez, my phone. That kind of show that I'll just watch the fight scenes on YouTube. Let me explain myself though. Attack on Titan is a visually astounding anime. Scenes where they're just flying around using their gadget thing, I don't remember what it's called. And scenes where Eren is a Titan is all great. They're all fast, fluent, suspenseful, and make you go, oh shit! That's what those kinds of scenes should do too. And I'll be honest, learning about the nature of Titans is interesting, and every time I've learned something about them, I do get interested. When I found out that there were Titans in the wall themselves, it blew my fucking mind. Speaking of the Titans though, I do genuinely like seeing the odd designs of the random mindless Titans, as well as the important self-aware human-Titan hybrid designs. While I do think it's becoming a bit much since there's just more and more coming, I do understand that's slightly dumb to feel. I also hope it's just nothing idiotic. And as I always look forward to new Titans and watch energetic scenes, I always think how badass the art itself actually is. The art for the manga, from what I've seen, is kind of messy and kind of no. I've also heard it's not fun to follow since it doesn't look good. The anime though, oh, that's some crisp death you done did on that right there screen, I tell you what. So at this point, I haven't really said anything negative about the series, so why am I saying that I don't like the show? That is just, three main reasons. The main character, death, and viewer interest. Let's approach this from the given order, starting with the main character, Eren Yeager! He wants to become one of the soldiers because Titans are terrible, people on the force suck, and he saw his mom die. That's all fine and dandy up until you realize that's kind of everyone else's motivation. Other than seeing his mother die, there is no other standout reason that makes him different from anyone else in the series. Everybody wants to kill Titans, everyone thinks that they're bad, everyone knows that they need to die. It's all a matter of who's actually out there doing the killing. On top of that, I've always said that his character can be summed up with the line he has during the prosecution scene.
If you're too scared to fight for your lives, fine! Let me do it! You're all cowards! What? Just shut up! And put all your faith in me!
That's it. That's his whole fucking character. Just a bunch of shouting internally and externally, and stubbornly trying to take responsibility for like anything. He's one of the worst and most bitchy main characters I've ever seen, and he's terrible. He should have stayed dead when he was first eaten. He's trash! You know, this isn't on the script, but reading it is making me realize that first point I made can sound like a lot of main characters, but the difference is, the other main characters, say like Naruto, I guess, they get better along the line and they stop doing bullshit, kind of, sort of, somewhat. Eren is just an extra step of fucking frustration and infinite annoyance. There's no redeeming factor of him whatsoever. Moving on, it's no secret that this show has an overdose of death, and that in itself is one of the reasons why the show is so popular. Never knowing who can die, that no one is safe. The characters people like can be ripped away from you like nothing. And like, cool, I was all for that because unpredictability is awesome when it comes to anything. But if you're gonna do something like that, you pace that shit out. You constructively plan out when you do it. Honestly, the only time when death mattered to me was when the Titans invaded after everyone was finished in boot camp and when Levi's team died flat out. And even that was just barely hitting the nail. They try to add personality to characters so that when they inevitably die, it'll create some sort of emotional outburst from the viewer. But it fails because they don't fucking matter. You don't get to see them enough to get invested in that character in the slightest. The most you get is, I like this character. I hope they don't die. Oh shit, they died. Damn. So add a terrible main character, and you have the final point that you just lose interest.
Also, none of the supporting characters do anything for me. My Casa is boring. Harmon is decent at best and could be a much better character than he has been up to my knowledge. Potato Girl is Potato Girl. Zoe is slightly better or slightly worse than Potato Sasha. And Levi is only cool to look at. Yes, I know about his backstory, and it only makes a point to show that he's a fan favorite.
Nothing that happens is interesting other than how Titans become the way they did, and like Aaron's dad. I essentially want to bring up one part in the show that caught wind from the Dragon Ball Z syndrome, where Aaron had to just move a boulder. That shit took like 3 or 4 fucking episodes. Why? That shit was insulting. How long that simple ass bullshit took. In general, things drag on just long enough for them to become a bit boring and just make you think, alright, I get it, move on. I'm not saying that every single moment in the show is boring, nor am I saying that anything that isn't an action scene boring, but not many of the moments in the show are attention grabbing. So as if that isn't enough, Season 2 finally came out not too long ago, and fans were up in arms and overwhelming excitement so they can finally see in motion the continuation of the story. And it ended up being a short, overhyped waste. The season was unexpectedly short, not even hitting 20 episodes, and every issue I brought up before still applies. As unfortunate as it may be, this is going to keep happening because that's just the nature of this botched series. I want to reiterate that I don't hate the series, I'm just not the biggest fan. And again, people might say, just read the manga, it might be better. I would, but again, I've heard time and time again that it's just uncomfortable to read because of the art. I'm picky enough with art as it is, so why would I put myself through that? Alright, so I just looked over the manga so people won't say I was just talking out of my ass. The art is different from the anime is what I've noticed. The manga looks loose and kind of sketchy, and it makes it look messy and somewhat goofy. And if people are telling me that it's added a groggy and creepy, unsettling feeling, I would like to present Parasite. It kept relatively the same style of art without changing too much, and in the manga, while not the flashiest or most detailed thing out there, at times, it still conveys the unsettling tension when a parasite starts to peel itself open and do a disgusting grin. Attack on Titan doesn't do that for me. It just looks gross and nothing more. If you like the series, I have no problem with that. It's a hell of a lot more acceptable than SAO, that's for sure. If you disagree with me, let me know. That's just my... Ooh, I hit the mic.